video response to the two professors, Professor Anton and friend, Professor friend thing, whatever. So we'll try something new here. Don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it anyway. So we shall begin.
Go on to this issue, the larger issue of how it bears into. I mean, I think let's go back to this question of the whole, and what you talked about with reframing. Okay, imagine that people try to take seriously, and I think they do. They think that they can use terms like 1,000,000 years, and then 50 million years, and then 300 million, and then 1 billion, and bobble around between that, even though we all know that in human scale, 1,000 years is such a...
Oh, look, it's of course we can talk about what it is to be human, like human race, like what it is to exist as a kind of creature. That's one conversation. Another conversation is about what it's like to be an individual and how you you live your life. It might be worth talking about, but really this isn't this whole the context here a conversation about what's the truth of our existence. And the truth of our existence is billions of years. That's the truth. That's the context of our existence. So there's nothing invalid with talking about it. I mean, we can understand it. I mean, really, it's really not beyond us.
Long time. And then people say, we know for a fact that the universe is 6 billion years old and stars live for this long. And there's all these people who talk that way. And not only do we not know what happened before the Big Bang, I mean, there are some physicists out there arguing that the Big Bang is just a reverberation that is going to explode and contract and explode and contract, and that's been going on indefinitely. I mean, people have no idea.
Well, who cares? I'm going to forget this thing. It really doesn't work. Right? I'm going to declare that it doesn't work. Who cares? I mean, you want to talk about the origins of the universe and whether the universe has always been or hasn't always been and all that crap, fine, whatever. The real conversation, though, isn't it about where we came from? How did we get here? What are we made out of? What are we doing? How do we function? That question, you don't have to go back 15 billion years. You only got to go back 4. All right? And all you have to do is go back to the idea, the concept of evolution, which apparently you're rejecting without saying you're rejecting it. Because the theory ends up with if you take it all the way back to its beginnings, okay, chemistry acquired the capacity to reproduce. No gods, no magic, no intentions, no let's have living things in the universe kind of bullshit. No, it's just a manifestation of chemistry. Just like chemistry can form arsenic, a chemical compound, just as it can form certain compounds, it was able to form a DNA molecule that, under the right circumstances in a cellular membrane, becomes a blueprint for a reproducing cell. I mean, it's really not beyond our understanding. We can see that there's incredible nuance to the interrelationships between how living things live. And all that nuance is because of this billions of years of time scale.
So there is some sense in which we don't know. But I think it's as if people think they can make sense of things like 1,000,000 years or 1 billion years, where it's really this framing issue and the human need for stories about the whole of the cosmos. See, I think...
There we go. So the human need for stories. No, the humans needed stories when they didn't have the truth. And that's what you're denying here. You're denying that there's any evolution of our knowledge base and that we have acquired enough understanding to draw conclusions, to make statements that have a hell of a lot more credibility than they had 2,000 years ago. No, we had to make up stories because we didn't have any facts to do it with. So we made up crap. And now we're able to make up kind of good stories. Relevant, truthful, honest stories. Not fables, not fantasies. No, we're able to describe reality.
If humans were just finite, like other animals are, it wouldn't be a problem.
If humans were just finite, like other animals are. Now that's just so... you did this whole video, was basically most of it was about this whole comparison to the animals, and you're like, nah, we're better than you kind of bullshit. Like it means something. the emotional experience of a gorilla, for example, whose baby has just been netted out of a tree, and whose brother has just had his hands clopped off for ashtrays or something else. Her emotional state is no less significant than your emotional state at particular times during your life. Yes, you can do this thinking and intelligence thing, and you can fuck around with a language and pervert the meaning of every fucking word that comes out of your mouth. Yeah, you can do a sillier dance, but that's all it is. It's a sillier dance, and you're just an elitist prick to be sitting there saying, well, I'll justify humanity's gluttony and stupidity and our self-aggrandizement and our sense of self-importance, because I can, beat a chimpanzee in a foot race. I mean, what a pile of shit.
If we were self-aware but not finite, it wouldn't be a problem. Right? Then we would be just as gods. But because it's sort of like...
Oh, yeah. So if you're self-aware and you're not finite, you're like a god. But if you're finite and not aware, then you're like a dog. And if you're like a frog, you're, swim like a fish. And if you're pooping your pants, you're an asshole. Yeah, right. Who cares? I mean, this is just such garbage, such nonsense. The fact that we are finite is, again, a biological circumstance. It's something imposed on us by biology. Okay, because successful organisms couldn't over-reproduce. If they did that, if they overpopulated, they died. They got exterminated. They went extinct. All right, so the survivors had to have a regulatory mechanism built into them. They had to have death sort of built into them.
As Ernest Becker would say, we're angels with anuses. We're somehow planted with our feet completely in the material world, but because we have language, we somehow deal in an otherworldliness.
Oh, bullshit. It's not otherworldly. It's just, how dumb do I have to make you before you call yourself an animal? How many facts and figures do I have to take out of your head before you'll say I am an animal? I mean, it's just a matter of degrees. And yes, there's value to being intelligent. There's value in not being an idiot. But, we're idiots by intelligent standards. I mean, people 500 years ago will laugh at the fact that you assholes sat around here and even debated the subject of God and the existence of this fairy tale, the truthfulness of it. They'd be humiliated to be an asshole as stupid as you.
Transcend the immediate here and now, and we deal not only in symbols and in reframings, but in questions, stories about ultimate wholes, about...
Yeah, stories. Again, stories. You're just going to keep glorifying the past, glorifying the nonsense and the babble and the totem poles of the past, as if they should have any meaning whatsoever to us except for seeing them for what they are, mistakes. That's all. They're errors. They're mistakes. We gotta overcome them. We can't embrace them. We can't glorify them. We shouldn't give them any respect whatsoever.
Where the universe came from. Now, will there be a definitive answer to that, like a testable answer to that? I don't think there will be. But
well, who cares? Again, like I said, what we do know is that it's dumb, crude forces. There's no evidence of a God anywhere to be found. There's no evidence of intelligence anywhere to be found. What there is evidence is intuitive, or intelligence, logic can deduce from the facts, okay, that no intelligence would create this sloppy, because that's not what intelligence does. Intelligence creates architecture. Intelligence does things in a rational and sensible way. It doesn't do things in a sloppy and reckless way. And there's every indication that nature's values are sloppy and reckless would be exaggerating. That's giving them too much credit.
Humans need narratives that they can live by for that.
Yeah, no. What human beings need is they need the truth. They need the truth, the facts. That's how you rationally and logically and sensibly and productively, if you're going to have any real hope of acting productively, that's where the probability lies. The probability lies that you're going to act productively when you know the truth, when you know the facts. Not when you're ignorant, not when you're stupid, not when you've self-deluded yourself with goddamn fucking stories. That isn't the road to effectively dealing with your circumstance, is to have a delusion that your circumstance is something other than it is. This isn't a cartoon. We can't run off the end of the cliff and then say, whoops, I made a mistake, and run back again.
You know what I mean? I mean, I feel like there's this issue of metaphor and narrative and language. This is so important.
That's why this kind of stuff is so sensitive, and why people want to pick camps and really fight over it, because it's very...
Oh, come on. It's the truth we're fighting about. Well, pick camps. I mean, you just trivialize it. You've picked your own fucking camp. You've picked some dopey, silly camp that says, well, as long as people don't bash rabbits over the head with clubs, the world is okay, because nature's okay, because nature's plan's okay. So you're comfortable with all that. You have your own definition of the truth, and you'll defend it if need be. But you're perfectly satisfied with human beings being assholes, okay? You're not, that doesn't concern you. The only concern you have is, well, no, when their wars might affect me. But beyond that, how